Greetings and welcome to FreedomBookClub.com's video announcement for January 2013. My name is Ferb, and I am the managing editor of FreedomBookClub.com. And so, I would like to announce that this book, New World Rising, The Quest for Human Freedom in the 21st Century by Tom DiLorenzo, is our book of the month. It also has a foreword by the eminent Professor Gary Chartier. So, if you want to go to our website, here it is. That's what the book looks like. This is what our website looks like. If you're chatting in the chat room, I'm glad to say hi. Hi. Yeah, so there I am. Alright, so there we are. So let's look at the results. See that? That's where the results are on the page, but let's take a more detailed look. Our winner, of course, is New World Rising by Tom DiLorenzo. And in second place, at 21.4%, was None of the Above. Followed by finalist B, which was A Beautiful Anarchy by Jeffrey A. Tucker. So Jeffrey A. Tucker's book will get a second chance in December of 2013. And finalist C, coming in tied for last, finalist C would be Flu by Wayne Simmons, and The Manufacture of Madness by Thomas Szasz, the eminent, dearly departed psychiatrist. So, back to me, Jim. Okay, so that was the results, and you can chat. I'm going to read a couple of things about our book of the month, The New World Rising by Tom DiLorenzo. Alright, I'm going to go to the product description as found on the publisher's website. The New World Rising is a collection of essays dedicated to the proposition that all human beings have the innate right to be free, and that this exclusive freedom will only be achieved when individuals begin to take notice of the invisible chains that bind them to external authorities, and finally decide to break those dangerous self-imposed shackles once and for all. We also have a review, which I took from that website, by Wendy McElroy. New World Rising is a freewheeling delight of a book. The spinal cord of its content is hardcore freedom, but the articles spinning off are insightful, cynical, idealistic, and they are exactly what so many advocates of liberty have been muttering under their breath for far too long. Let's speak out loud and let the revolution begin. And yes, in deference to Emma Goldman, we will also have dancing. I'll dance to the beat of New World Rising any day. And that's from Wendy McElroy, author of XXX, A Woman's Right to Pornography, our book of the month for June 2010. So when you are done reading the book, please come to freedombookclub.com/past, and that will bring you to this page, and then you can take our exit survey, which is right here. That's really important. That determines our annual literary award winner. Okay. So, please order the book by clicking on this link right here, which brings you here. And you can order it. I am supplying the books to Amazon.com. So if you buy it, it's going to directly contribute to the funds that we need to operate our club. So you can like that on Amazon.com. That would be helpful. 2 people like it so far. And then go to Goodreads.com and then put that on your currently reading, read, or want to be read shelf. I want to read it. I have a copy, but I'm going to send that one out to one of our subscribers. So, that being said, I'm going to now give you our financial report. First of all, we're changing banks, so I have money, which will be going into our banking. So we have 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 20, 40, 60, 80, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 789 Federal Reserve accounting units denominated. So we are going to be using that. Thank you so much for subscribing, which makes it all possible. So I'm going to also show you our PayPal balance. We're logging in securely here. Okay, we have $527.02, so that's over $1,200 in the bank right now. Most of which is going to be used to get me here. Well, some of it is going to be used to get me here to the New Hampshire Liberty Forum, where I will present our annual literary award to the attendees of this forum. And I'm also using money to get a table in their exhibitor hall, which costs $650. But hopefully we can recoup that by getting more subscribers and making more people aware of the book club, freedombookclub.com. So that is on the 21st through the 24th of February, and that will be good for our club. All right, let's get on to our finalists. Our finalists this month are The Spanish Anarchists, The Heroic Years, 1868 to 1936, by Murray Bookchin. Okay, and I have a review from flag.blacken.com, and I'm only going to read some of it. Okay, this book is not a mere historical catalog of figures and events. It's much, much more. This book can and does open windows into the way an anarchist movement can develop. Interestingly, the same rapid changes that catapulted anarchism into the 20th century are now stirring the social pot as we enter the 21st. Murray Bookchin's book examines the various stages of the Spanish anarchist movement, from the spark that Finelli brought to Spain from Italy in 1868 to the blazing inferno that followed the CNT National Congress in Zaragoza in 1936. I'm looking forward to reading that, or reading more about that. I hope it's selected. Well, I don't know. I don't want to make any impartial judgments or bias anything. Anyway, on to finalist B, The Libertarian Theology of Freedom by Edmund A. Opitz. So this is from libertarianchristians.com. Much of the book addresses the so-called social gospel, a major theme of Opitz's work throughout his life. Opitz exposes how the social gospel is built on a faulty review of Scripture and human nature, and of course, a deficient understanding of economics. What's more, he traced the history of thought that led the social gospel movement in the early 20th century. This is something I've never seen presented before, not even in my class on Christianity in America. Insights such as these are critical as we combat the resurgence of social gospel advocates like Jim Wallace, stating and his sojourners crowd of state-loving neoliberal Christians. The social gospel is socialism with a Christian veneer. Opitz is a serious and vigorous defender of economic freedom and private property. He shows himself a respectful debater in his exchange letters with Reverend John Bennett of Union Theological Seminary in Chapter 1. It's almost embarrassing to see the opposing side smashed so readily. Opitz demonstrates clearly the compatibility of Christian faith with libertarian thought, and that with sharp wit. He calls Bennett out for having two standards of morality, one for individuals and one for those in power. In doing so, he challenges the very notion of the state itself. For what is the state but a group of people who make certain actions illegal for others, but legal for themselves to do? Alright, so that's an excerpt from a review from libertarianchristians.com. And finalist C is Homebrew Industrial Revolution by Kevin A. Carson. Okay, so I'll read a little excerpt from the book and a summary from the Center for Stateless Societies website, c4ss.com. I think. Anyway, so the summary says, neighborhood workshops, desktop manufacturing, household microenterprises, and online horizontal networks of peer producers will come to dominate the informal economy that must arise as the state-allied formal economy stagnates and decays. The crushing cost of formal business, state and local government taxes and junk fees rising to pay for unaffordable pensions, etc., and the implosion of the debt bubble economy will drive millions into the informal economy of barter, trade, and underground cash work. As small businesses close their doors and corporations lay off thousands, the unemployed will, of necessity, shift their focus from finding a new formal job, essentially impossible for most, to fashioning a livelihood in the informal economy. That's something I've thought about doing. You can find out more about that kind of thing from Karen Lupo's book. I can't remember the name of it right now, but it is on our website somewhere. Anyway, on to finalist D, 1984 by George Orwell. This is a classic. So I'm going to read an excerpt of a review from Bird Brian on Goodreads.com. I was 14 years old on Christmas of 1983, and somebody, I forget who, decided that in 1984, with 1984 just around the corner, Orwell's book would be a good Christmas gift. A few days later, with the luxury of ample Christmas break free time on my hands, I started it. I was home all alone one day and devoured the book. Afterwards, I just lay in my bed, staring at the ceiling for like 20 minutes, digesting its contents in my parents' silent home, my room bathed in the anemic light of late afternoon in winter, which somehow reinforced the power of Orwell's dark vision. The experience hadn't been like reading a book at all. It had been like opening a message in a bottle, a message Orwell had scrawled off 35 years earlier, and then cast into an ocean of media and ideas whose unpredictable currents had somehow ended up with me. It wasn't a prophecy, as in, these things will come to pass. It was a receipt for Orwell's thought, which were now being whispered to me across time and from beyond the grave. Brian, I thought these things, and that means other people can think them, too. I wrote this in 1948, when Hitler still seemed real. You live in a world where he doesn't seem real anymore, but he was real. He wasn't the only one with a horrible plan. The mere existence of Orwell's dystopic story proved that it was important. Standing on the cusp of a paradigm shift for months, this little push was all I needed. It was a flutter in my stomach. So that is an excerpt of Bird Brian's review from Goodreads.com. Anyway, I would like to have you all add this book on Goodreads, add our book of the month, New World Rising, The Quest for Human Freedom in the 21st Century. So just go to Goodreads.com, put that in there, New World Rising, The Quest for Human Freedom, and it'll pop up, and then you want to say, I want to read this book. So I'm going to say I'm currently reading it. Because I could, but I'm I'm going to wait till my copies arrive from the publisher. I want to thank you for joining us today. Thank you. Be seen.